عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. We give thanks to Allah, we praise Him, we adore Him, we beseech His mercies and blessings upon the noble Prophet Muhammad, his household, his companions, and those who tread on his path till the day of reckoning. Inshallah, today again we'll be taking a look at الفرق بين بن و'بن. الفرق بين بن و'بن. What is the difference between the term bun, as it is spelled here, and the term ibnu, as you can see it on the board? Let's take a look at each of them one after the other. The term bun, as you can see it, الحالات التي تحذف فيها همزة ابن وتصير بن. The conditions at which we remove or we nullify or we cancel in those conditions hamza to ibn, the hamza, as you can see here, this is hamza tul wasl. What are the conditions that will make us to remove this hamza tul wasl in a sentence? وتصير بن. And this hamza tul wasl, after being removed, it becomes bun without the presence of that hamzatul wasl again. Now, what are the conditions? The first of them is إذا وقعت بين علمين وكانت تابعة. إذا وقعت بين علمين. If the term ibnu, as you can see it here, falls within two names. Please, let's take note of this. It is very important. Two names that we are talking about here, we refer to name of a person, name used for a person, like Sulaiman, Yusuf, Dawood, Tayyib, Abdullah. So that is what we refer to as alam, the name of a person, a proper noun. Now, if this ibnu that begins with hamzatul wasl falls between two names of a person, وَكَانَتْ تَابِعًا, and the term ibnu itself follows that name. When we say tabi'a in Arabic language, especially in Nah, tabi'a means something that follows a particular thing. If what it follows is mafur, that particular thing, that particular word that is tabi'a will also be mafur. If what it follows is mansub, that particular word will be mansub as well. If it is a majrur, the word will also be majrur. That is tabi'a. We have example of tabi'a. We have one of them is an-na'at. We have atfu. We have atful bayan. We have al-badal, and we have tawkid. These are tawabi'. Now, but that's not where we're going for today. Now, if the term ibnu falls between two proper nouns, two names of a person, and the term ibnu also follows that name. That is, it is buttressing that name. It is not that it is standing on its own, but it's giving more meaning to that name in question. Masal, we will understand better now. للاسم قبلها, for the name that comes before it. Masalan, for instance, I have Yusufu bun Isa. Very good. Yusufu bun Isa. Look at the word Yusuf, is a name of a person. Bun, can you see that there is no alful hamzatul wasl? The alf has been removed, it has been cancelled. Why? Because this is a name of a person, and this is also a name of a person. Isa is a name of a person. So if ibnu that has to begin with hamzatul wasl falls between two proper nouns, two names of a person, like we have Yusuf and Isa, the hamzatul wasl will be removed, and that is why we have Yusufu bun. But if you want to pronounce it together, it's going to be Yusufubnu, Yusufubnu Isa, Yusufubnu Isa. Now let's look at the other example. We have Muhammad. Can you see the dal? Please, let's take note of something. Normally, when we want to write or spell Muhammad, there should be tanween on that dal. But careful looked at. When you carefully look at these now, you will see that the dal does not have tanween, it has dhamma. We will explain the reason for writing dhamma instead of tanween in the later time of the lecture. Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Muhammad is alam, Abdullah is Alam. Can you see that the Hamzatul Wasl in the Ibn has been removed, then it becomes Muhammad ibn Abdullah. So when Ibn falls between two names of a person, Alam, Alamain, we remove that Hamzatul Wasl, then we write Ba and Nun. Now the second condition to make us to remove or cancel that Hamzatul Wasl in the word Ibn is إذا كان العلم قبلها مفردا. If the alam that comes before the term Ibn is a singular alam, that is a singular proper noun, name of a person. So in that case, we remove that Hamzatul Wasli as well, then we write it as Bun, Ba and Nun without adding Hamzatul Wasli at the beginning. Now, a tanbih, a notice, an observation that we need to take a look at. إذا أنعمنا النظر في المثال الأول, if we take a critical look at the first example, this first example, وجدنا أن العلم قبلها, we will see that the proper noun that comes before Ibn, that is Alif, Hamzatul Wasl, Ba and Nun, that comes before it, غير منون, it does not have tanween. The last letter does not have tanween. What are we saying? Let's take a look at this example. Muhammad, which I said earlier that ordinarily we should have said Muhammadun, but we said Muhammadu. Why did we say so? وَهَذَا لِلتَّخْفِيفِ. We said so that we can make it easy in terms of pronunciation. So this tanween is not written. We now say Muhammadun, Muhammadun Abdullah. So we should take note that it does not have tanween, للتخفيف. وَالْجُمْلَةُ أَيْضًا نَاقِصَةٌ. And if we take a look at these two examples, these two statements that we wrote down, we see that the statements are not meaningful. They are not meaningful. For example, Yusuf ibn Isa. Since I've said Bun here is buttressing the first name, which is Yusuf, that is, it is giving more meaning to Yusuf. Yusuf ibn Isa. What we are saying is Yusuf, the son of Isa. So we have not actually given detail regarding that statement. Yusuf, the son of Isa. What happened to him? What is actually happening to Yusuf ibn Isa? It means that statement is incomplete. The same thing to Muhammad ibn Abdullah. The statement also is incomplete because Bun here is only giving more meaning to Muhammad. It's not that it is standing on its own. It is tabi'. It follows the word Muhammad. Now let's go into Ibn. We have explained why Hamzatul Wasl is removed from Ibn. Now, what are the conditions whereby we are going to make sure that we remain that Hamzatul Wasl, it remains, that we will not remove it? What are the conditions for that? الحالات التي نثبت فيها أمزة ابن. The conditions to which we are going to retain the Hamzatul Wasl without removing it in a sentence or in a statement. The first of them is إذا كان العلم الأول منونا. If the first alam, of course we've known what alam is, a name of a person or a proper noun. If the first name that comes before that Ibn, إذا كان منونا, if it has tanween, if it has tanween. مثلا, for example, Aliyun, can we say Aliyun? The last letter of that name has tanween, Dhammatan. Aliyun ibn Abi Talib. Aliyun ibn Abi Talib. Aliyun ibn Abi Talib or Aliyun ibn Abi Talib. So here we can see that Ibn here will retain the Hamzatul Wasli. Why? Because the alam is munawwan, that is, it has tanween. The first name that comes before the Ibn has tanween. That's the major reason. Ibn Abi Talib. In this case now, the sentence is complete. Ali Ibn Abi Talib is a son of Abu Talib. it is more meaningful compared to the first one that we said, Yusuf ibn Isa, Yusuf the son of Isa. What happens to him? We don't know. But here, Ali as a person, Ibn Abi Talib, is the son of Abi Talib. Now, look at another example. Muhammadun ibn Abdul Wahhab. Muhammadun ibn Abdul Wahhab. Muhammadun ibn Abdul Wahhab. Now, we have Tanween here, and because of the presence of Tanween, the Hamzatul Wasli will be retained, and that is why you can see it here. Ibn Abdul Wahhab. So, Ibn is Mudaf, Abdul Wahhab, Mudaf ilay, wa huwa Mudaf, al-Wahhab Mudaf ilay. Now, the second condition whereby we retain the Hamzatul Wasl in Ibn, إذا كان العلم الأول غير مفرد. If the first proper noun, that is the first name, is not a singular word, if the first proper noun that comes before Ibn is non-singular, it is not a singular word. مثلا, for instance, Abdullahi wa Aishatu ibna Yusufa. You can see Abdullah wa Aisha and Aisha. Abdullah and Aisha ibna Yusufa. They are children of Yusuf. The reason why we put Hamzatul Wasli here is because we have two names. The island, the name that comes before the word Ibn, is not one again. It has become two. Once it is more than one, the Hamzatul Wasli will be retained. And that is why we have Ibn Yusufa. Now the third condition is إذا كان الاسم الأول قبلها ليس علما. If the first name, the proper noun, the first name that comes before, if the first name that comes before the term Ibn, laysa alaman, it is not a proper noun. It is not a name of a person. Now, مثلا, for instance, Dhalilun ibn Dhalil. Dhalilun is not a name of a person. It's just like a word. It's a common noun. Dhalilun ibn Dhalil. Like the ridiculed. Or the less privileged. Dhalil is somebody that does not have any honor. So, the ridiculed person, the son of the ridiculed. The ridiculed, the son of a ridiculed. So, Dhalilun is not island, is not a proper noun that we can say it is a name of a person. And for that reason, we retain the Hamzatul Wasli in Ibn. And the fourth condition is إذا كانت الجملة جوابا لسؤال من قال. If the sentence as a whole happens to be a response to a question of the person who says Ibn man Sulaiman. Sulaiman is the son of who? Sulaiman is the son of who? Now, مثلا, for instance, and that's the question. Sulaiman is the son of who? And you want to respond to that question. You say Sulaiman ibn Tariq. Sulaiman is the son of Tariq. Now, why did we retain Hamzatul Wasli in Ibn? We retain that because it is a response to a question. Not that we are just saying a statement. It's a response to a question. What is the response? We retain the Hamzatul Wasl. And lastly, إذا وجد فاصل بينها وبين العالم الأول. If there is a separator, like something that is separating the first name and that of the term Ibn, that something comes in between them. Then after the first name, it is not that directly we see the term Ibn. There is a word that comes before we see Ibn. Then that Ibn, that Hamzatul Wasli in Ibn will also be retained. For example, Tayyib, huwa ibn Husayn. Ordinarily we would have said Tayyib bun, like Tayyib bun Husayn, or Tayyib ibn Husayn, Tayyib ibn Husayn. But because there is huwa after the term Tayyib, we retain the Hamzatul Wasl. This is where today's lesson will end. We hope you understand all what we've discussed between the conditions that necessitate retaining Hamzatul Wasli in the term Ibn and removing Hamzatul Wasli in the term Ibn. Wassalatu wassalam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.